Hello there, everyone. Q here with the next in the Monster Book series. Now we move from Dungeons and Dragons over to another game series. Another game. We move over to Pathfinder. Now, this is the second edition, Bestiary. So let's go ahead and crack this open and take a look at some of the creatures inside. Once again, I'm not going to go through every monster that's in here. We're going to cover some of the, cover some as we go and kind of go through them. Try to cover as much as we can in a short amount of time as possible. For those of you that like to take a look, here are some of the credits for the book. A lot of great people involved with such a fantastic book. Feel free to take the time to read through that if you would like. All right, let's go ahead and get through these monsters. We've got a lot to cover here. A lot of great monsters in this book that can be used not just for Pathfinder, but I find these monsters come in handy in almost any game system. Learn how to adapt them pretty much to any game setting. So all right, let's get started. We have a very different outline and the way things are laid out as opposed to Dungeons and Dragons. I love the way Dungeons and Dragons does their layouts, but I love the way Pathfinders does theirs as well, even though it's quite a bit different. And although a lot of these monsters, by their traditional names, are outlined in other games, I like the way they're presented here, and I like the differentiations and the various takes, such as the Astral Diva here. Very cool creature. Animated objects and statues. It's very cool stuff. If there's any of these creatures you would like to see more of from this book or from this video, feel free to pause it at any time. I am going to be kind of cruising through this just to kind of get through it in a sort of timely fashion. I really love this picture right here of the Horned Archon. That's really cool. Various Archons. And the way they're presented is really cool. I also like the way the stat blocks are outlined out. This makes it really easy to find the information you're looking for quickly. And of course, it always helps that the artwork is so wonderful as well. So, as with the other books we've gone through, is there a particular favorite creature or monster within this book that you're particularly fond of? Are there monsters you have found that have pretty much been great for pretty much any campaign you have ran? And if so, what are those monsters? Or maybe likewise as with the previous books, maybe there's monsters in here that either you would like to use and haven't used, but would like to. Or maybe there's monsters or creatures that you try to avoid using for a particular reason. If so, what are those monsters? And what are the reasons? Here we have the cave worm, pretty cool looking creature. Centaurs and centipedes, always cool creatures to encounter and very deadly oftentimes, especially for ill-equipped parties. Crocodiles can be deadly, as well as cockatrices. Some more cool creatures like the Astrodaemon. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. I've never used this creature in a campaign. Of course, we have some more demons. So we have the Quasit and the Succubus. Moving ahead in the book, we have the Diro Magister. Not only are these cool creatures to use in campaigns, but the artwork pretty much sells it as well for me. So here's a good topic for discussion. Out of the Dungeons and Dragons, this may be a heated discussion, and the Pathfinder books, which ones do you feel present these monsters better? Do you feel that Dungeons and Dragons does the perfect job of presenting its creatures both in its stat block form and in its artistic form? Or do you feel that the artists from Pathfinder do a better job? What's your opinion on that? Here we have some, the Dampier, dinosaurs, Always some kind of dinosaurs in these games. Got the Brontosaurus and the Tyrannosaurus. I almost said T-Rex. Dragons, of course. What would these games be without dragons, right? Both your chromatic and your metallic dragons. I've always really enjoyed white dragons, both the way they present and just the artwork behind them. Regardless of who does the art, they usually turn out very, very well. Bronze dragons. Here we're into the metallic dragons. All right, we're going to jump on ahead here. We've got some jungle drakes and the wyvern, aka dragonkin. Duergars, classic. Here we have some elementals. Again, what would a Pathfinder campaign be without some elementals available to use, just in case? Mephits. I've enjoyed Mephits since their inception. I always thought they were really cool. Here we have the Shaitan and the Marid. I've always liked these creatures, like where they're elemental based. Another one would be the Ifrits. Fire giants and cloud giants. Of course, giants of any kind are always cool to use in campaigns. All right, here we are jumping on ahead, and we run into the Grim Reaper. We have the Grim Reaper, and we have Lesser Death. Pretty interesting. Harpies and Hellhounds. Going back to that Lesser Death, I mean, what exactly is a Lesser Death, right? I mean, if you die, is there such thing as a lesser death versus a regular death or even a greater death? And if so, what warrants that? Here we have the kobold. Kobolds are always fantastic and some of the most classic creatures that can be used in any fantasy campaign setting. Move on ahead to the lizard folk. Again, I'm not going through every creature in this book. If you have this book, you know the creatures in it. If not, and you can get a hold of this book, I highly recommend you get it if you're a big fan of fantasy role-playing game monsters, because this book outlines them very well. And as you can see, the artwork is top-notch. Of course, what campaign would be without mimics? Mimics is something that's been in these kind of campaign and these types of games since I was a little kid, and I'm not young. Same with minotaurs. Okay, we have the Naga. Naga are going to be part of any of these fantasy campaign settings. Always cool to use. Pegasus, Phoenix, Poltergeists, Red Caps and Reef Claws. Red Cap being a classic. And some more interesting creatures. All right, here we have spiders. If there was ever a classic monster, definitely spiders would be that. And we have vampires, zombies. Zombies will always be a classic creature type to use within a fantasy roleplay game setting. All right, there you have it. Unleash the Beasts. Over 400 of fantasy's fiercest foes burst from the pages of this enormous compendium of the most popular and commonly encountered creatures in the world of Pathfinder. From familiar enemies like orcs, dragons, and vampires to new horrors like nightmarish Millis, three-headed Mukradi, to suitable servants for summoners of every alignment. This must-have companion to the Pathfinder core rulebook is crawling with creatures and challenges to challenge characters of any level. Right, there you have it. The Pathfinder Bestiary. This is the second edition. Thank you everyone for taking the time to watch this. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let's have some fun conversations pertaining to the questions I've asked in the comments section down below. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video, which will be out soon to come. Take care. Be safe. Have a good one.